video is going to be a comparison of these two eyeshadow palettes. I had posted on Instagram and also on YouTube that I had got these two palettes, and I had a few people asking me which one I prefer. So I have been using these two palettes pretty much exclusively for the past 2 weeks, going back and forth to really give you guys a good answer. And I feel like this is such a tough question, but at the end of the video, I will pick one because I feel like I need to. But yeah, I'm going to go through and I'm going to be comparing them. I do have a full, like, in-depth review of this one along with the Tarte contour palette, so I will have this link down below because this is not going to be an in-depth review of both. It's just basically going to be a comparison. So this is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. This is the second Tartelette palette, and then this one here is the Urban Decay palette that they made in collaboration with Gwen Stefani. So to start off, you can see here that they both have really, really adorable packaging. I really like both of them. You can see here that the Tartelette one is quite a bit smaller, and it also is quite a bit narrower. So if you are a big traveler and you're always on the go, this one is definitely more versatile for that. As far as actual appearance, I really, really like both of them. I think this is so beautiful and springy, and this one is also nice for traveling because it does have that click closure to it. The Urban Decay one just has a metal closure, so it might not be as good for traveling, but still super, super cute. This is so Gwen Stefani, and then this, again, in Bloom, it reminds me of like a springtime, and this is their springtime collection. So as far as the packaging, I don't really know. I like both of them. Like, they're both awesome, and you guys, it's so hard. Okay, let's talk about the Tartelette palette. First, you open it up here, you have a really beautiful, nice big mirror. You get 12 eyeshadows, 9 of them are matte and 3 of them are shimmer. They call them luster shades, and you guys, the pigmentation and the formulation of these eyeshadows is phenomenal. Like, such amazing eyeshadows. And then the Urban Decay one, you open it up here again, beautiful big mirror. There are more shimmery shadows in here than in the Tartelette palette, and you get 15 eyeshadows here as opposed to 12 in the Tartelette palette. But a big thing that we do need to talk about is price comparison. I actually do need to look this up because I am not 100% sure the price difference. The Urban Decay palette is $70 Canadian, and you can get it at Sephora, Shoppers Drug Mart, on the Urban Decay website. And then the Tartelette palette is not released in Sephora yet, but it is $54 Canadian on the Tarte Cosmetics website, and you could also get it in Ulta, and of course in US dollars it's going to be a lot cheaper. Like a lot cheaper. So that is a big price difference in my mind, $54 compared to $70. However, you're getting 15 eyeshadows here and 12 here, so it does kind of balance itself out. So I don't think the price plays a big factor in the comparison. The Urban Decay palette here has more neutral tones in it. So if you are somebody that has no eyeshadow palettes at home and you are just trying to buy one eyeshadow palette to meet all of your needs, I would recommend the Urban Decay palette over the Tartelette palette, because as you can see here, the two transition shades in the Urban Decay palette are very neutral toned, if not cool toned. So that is going to have more people are going to like that kind of neutral tone than a warm undertone. Now, if you look in the Tartelette one, the main transition shades here are more on the warmer, peachier side. So if you own a ton of eyeshadows, you're a makeup junkie like I am, this is more unique. So I feel like it's hard to keep switching back and forth. I feel like I have more eyeshadows in my collection that look like this rather than the Tartelette palette, where this has a lot more of that like warm, rosy undertone. This quality, you guys, is 100% better than the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. If you guys looked at this and you thought, oh, that kind of reminds me of the Naked 3 palette, yes, the tones are similar, but the quality and pigmentation of this palette is much better. So, going back to this palette here, what I will say is that the overall consistency of these eyeshadows is very good. Like, the formulation and the pigmentation is very good, but the quality across the board is not consistent. So like this shade here, for example, Pop, is very, very powdery. There's a lot of fallout. I was quite disappointed in it. But then like Steady over here is the most beautiful rose gold champagne color. Like, oh my god, I love that. Do you guys see that? That is such a beautiful eyeshadow. I'm obsessed with it. So I would say that these eyeshadows are a little bit drier in general, especially the matte ones, than what you're gonna get in the Tartelette palette. And for me personally, I don't mind a bit of a drier eyeshadow. It sometimes is better if you are a beginner because it's not going to be, you're not gonna have as much trouble blending. However, these, I do find that they go on a little bit choppier than the Tartelette palette. So both of the quality is amazing, but if I had to give it to one, I think I would have to say the Tartelette palette, the consistency and the pigmentation of the eyeshadows, I just prefer. So I'm going to open them up here both. And another thing that I want to point out about the Urban Decay palette is I really appreciate that you have some kind of funky colors down here. Harajuku, Danger, and 1987. We have a really nice kind of bright orchidy pink color, a cobalt metallic shimmery blue, and then this like almost like vintage gold borderline olivey green color down here. So I really like that you can get a lot of looks out of this palette and they're going to be really different. Now, so all in all, you guys, these are both amazing palettes. It really does come down to your preferences. If you prefer these warmer tones and you already have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, you will not be disappointed in this palette. It is so beautiful. And if you are looking for one palette to meet all of your needs, you're going to have more neutral looks in here. So the one thing that I will say about the Urban Decay palette as opposed to the Tartelette palette is, I lost my train of thought. Both amazing palettes. It really does come down to your preference of what you like to wear on a daily basis. If you are a beginner just getting into makeup, I would recommend this one. Or if you love Gwen Stefani, I could totally see why someone who just loves No Doubt and grew up loving Gwen Stefani like myself would want this palette in their collection. I just feel like Gwen Stefani is the coolest woman on the planet and I want to support her. Like, I am so pleasantly surprised with this palette, but all in all, I would buy anything that Gwen Stefani puts out as far as makeup is concerned. And then the Tartelette palette, again, so beautiful. Firecracker, you guys, on blue eyes. So good. So, can you tell I'm hesitating picking one? If I'm really just following my instinct and my heart, I would go with the Tartelette in Bloom palette. And it is hard for me to say that, but I just think overall I reach for this one more. And it also is a little bit less expensive, but I still love this one. So I'm gonna give it to this one, but I love both. I hope you guys found this review helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you want to see more kind of comparison videos like this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. 4, 5, I don't know, does it say? Anyway, you get 5. I did have something to say about that.